Okay, great.
Okay.
There you go.
So if you can't get to the Tu B'Shvat Seder, the Tu B'Shvat Seder will come to you.
There you go.
And here we are. I just want to call out to Mindy. Mindy, I got your message. It's all good. I'm glad you're here. Yes, so tonight we're going to celebrate Tu B'Shvat with a Seder, similar to a Seder that we will be doing in not too long from now on Passover. We're going to have 4 cups of wine or juice. So I hope you have, if you have your foods prepared and your juices, you can participate. If not, improvise or just love being here. Great, right. I actually mixed mine already. So I have a white and red with a little white, which is a DIY rosé. Do it yourself. And this is red with white. So it's a little bit lighter and then a full red. I'm doing juice tonight, but you could do wine or juice. Okay, so let's get into it. So what is Tu B'Shvat? Tu B'Shvat is a new year. It's a new year for the trees. We celebrate the trees and all the gifts that they give us. We celebrate nature on this holiday and the gifts of the natural environment. But this holiday, there's something so beautiful and special about it because it speaks to the wisdom of our Jewish calendar. The Jewish calendar is loaded with little nuances and little secrets. And if you open up to them and you're aware of them, you can really benefit from them. So what are we doing? We're in the middle of winter and everything outside looks dead and frozen and cold, depending on where you are. And we are told to have this little party with all different kinds of fruits and nuts and juices. And it's really, it sends us a message of hope that spring is coming. It whispers to us, don't worry. It might look cold and dreary outside, but spring will soon be here. So set your mind on that and be aware of what is going on, not what you see on the surface, but what's going on beneath the surface. There are many New Years that we celebrate throughout the Jewish year, and Tu B'Shvat is one of them. We also celebrate Rosh Hashanah, as everybody knows. That's a well-known New Year that we celebrate in the autumn time, and that celebrates the birth of humankind, the birth of the universe. We also consider Passover as a new year because it is the birth of our nation, of our people. So Rosh Hashanah, Passover, they're all moments to be able to reset and renew. They're opportunities for renewal. Somebody asked once, so can this holiday be celebrated anytime? Can it be, if you can't do it now, can you do it in the spring? And the answer is no. It's a winter holiday. It has to be celebrated now because that's the whole message. When things look dreary, Tu B'Shvat is like a shot. It's like a shot in the arm to tell you spring is not too far away. It is a winter holiday, and the last winter holiday will be Purim, which we'll celebrate in 2 months. So Tu B'Shvat is actually a date. It's a date on the Hebrew calendar. The Hebrew letter Tet, which has the numerical value of 9, and the Hebrew letter Vav, which has the numerical value of 6, come together to form the sound Tu, and it equals 15. So it's the 15th day of the month of Shvat. The 11th month of the Hebrew calendar is Shvat. And there's a mystical significance because if you add up the 15 and the 11, because the 11th month, the 15th day, you get 26. And 26 is a very significant number because it represents one of the names of God, the tetragrammic name of Yud and He and Vav and He, which also equal 26. So God is actually hidden mystically within the date itself of Tu B'Shvat. Also, it's a full moon holiday. If you look out your window on a clear night, I don't know if you'll be able to see it tonight, but it is a full moon. And the moon is similar to the trees in that it teaches us about resilience. And the full moon, there are many full moon holidays where we're at our greatest potential, we're at our fullest potential. And Purim is a full moon holiday, so is Passover, so is Sukkot, and so is Tu B'Shvat. It's always on the 15th day of the month. And when there's an eclipse, that is also always when there is a full moon. If anybody has a comment or would like to contribute something, you can write it in the chat and I will try to acknowledge your comments because I'd love to hear your feedback. So in the Torah, it says that human beings are like trees. And Shvat, the month of Shvat, reminds us that though the trees appear to be lifeless, deep inside, hidden, there's movement. The sap is beginning to flow. If you go to Israel at this time of year and you get off the plane now, you will see the almond trees blossoming every year at this time. So things are starting to happen. The sap is starting to flow. Things are starting to change. We understand here that in spite of the cold and darkness, the tree has the resilience and the potential to be fruitful and will soon blossom and bloom once again. This is the message of Tu B'Shvat. It calls us and it whispers to us that spring will soon be here. The Bible compares human beings to a tree of the field. Like a tree, we have different stages in our lives. There are times when we are blossoming and times that are dark and difficult. When things seem difficult, that's when deep inside, things are starting to move in the right direction. Though things seem to be still and frozen, it's important to remember that we are not idling, but preparing for the next phase and the next season. It is a process that takes time, and each stage is needed to make us stronger. That is the wisdom of the trees. So we have a lot to learn from the trees, and what better way to celebrate them than to eat their fruits with mindfulness and awareness and gratitude. How else are we like the trees, and what other advice do the trees give us? Well, I have a little list here of things that trees seem to tell us. Stand tall and be proud. Go out on a limb. Reach for the sky. Adapt to change. Branch out. Stay grounded. Remember your roots. Drink plenty of water and get rid of dead wood. Never stop growing. Bend before you break. Turn over a new leaf and enjoy the view. So trees are wise. They have a lot to give us. One other thing about Shvat that I want to share is that it is actually an acronym. The name of the month stands for the words Shenishma B'sorot Tovot. Shin, Vet, Tet stand for those words, Shenishma B'sorot Tovot, which means we should hear good news. So it's a month of, we are trying to be positive. And indeed, the other day when I turned the news on, first thing in the morning when I woke up on Sunday, I was so grateful to hear the good news that the hostages and the rabbi of the synagogue in Texas were released safely. That was truly good news. And I felt like the month was speaking. It's trying to embrace us. Thank God. So we're going to start with the Seder. And the Kabbalists created a mystical Seder where they took the 5 species of Israel, the 5 fruits that connect us to the land of Israel, and they ate them in a certain order. And that was symbolic of something. So they started with the olive. So I'm going to just put these foods on my plate. These are olives with a pit. Okay. The next food is the date. And then the grape. If you have these, you could put them on your plate. Then the fig. And finally, the pomegranate. And they were eaten in this specific order because the olive, which grows in Israel, has a pit. So when you eat the olive, you discard the pit right away. The next fruit is the date. The date also has a pit inside, but the date is a little sweeter. So you roll the pit around a little longer before you spit it out. The olive, this is a grape. The grape sometimes has a seed and sometimes it doesn't. So you can either eat the whole thing or else discard the seed. The fig, though, can be consumed completely, including the little seeds that are in there. The whole thing can be consumed. And that's why the Torah is likened to a fig, because the whole thing can be consumed. And then finally, the pomegranate. We've reached the fruit where the seed is actually the edible part of the fruit itself. And the pomegranate is very special in Judaism. If you notice, there's a lot of Judaic art that embodies the pomegranate because it's symbolic. It's symbolic of many things. One thing is fertility, because it has so many seeds inside of it. Some say that there are 613 seeds in the pomegranate, 613 representing the number of mitzvot that we're commanded to do, the commandments. And even on the Torah, sometimes the 2 silver objects that are on the Torah, on the scroll part, are called rimonim. And that's how you say pomegranate in Hebrew. So the pomegranate is a very special fruit. So what have we done? We've transitioned or transformed the bitter pit into the sweet seeds of the pomegranate, the sweet seeds of fruit. And that's what the message is, the mystical message is of the holiday. Transformation from bitterness to sweetness. It also represents the hidden, what you don't see, what is hidden within, which is like the divine spark, our soul. We all have a piece of God within us that you don't see on the outside so much, but it's hidden inside, and it has the potential to grow, just like the seeds of the fruit. So that's the Kabbalistic tradition. And then there's another type of Seder that includes 4 different kinds of foods. And I have my plate set up. The first category are fruits that have a shell or a peel, like the pomegranate or an orange or pistachio nuts or walnuts, anything with a shell or a peel. The next category is fruits that have a pit inside, but the outside is edible. The third category, so I have olives, dates, and apricots. The third category are fruits that can be completely consumed, like the fig, or blueberries, or raspberries, or raisins. And then finally are the fruits. Here I have an avocado and a mango that include, they have both the skin and the pit and the succulent fruit. So now we're going to learn about these 4 fruits. Before we eat anything, we're going to say the blessing for wine and for fruit. But first, before we begin, we're going to start with gratitude. And we're going to recite the Shehecheyanu because a lot of these fruits are new that we're eating for the first time. And also we're celebrating a holiday for the first time. We've come around the year and we've arrived at Tu B'Shvat once again. So let's all say,
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'hiyanu hazman hazeh.
Amen.
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 Okay, so we're going to start first with the first cup of wine or juice, and we start with white because white symbolizes winter. So we're going to say the bracha. Would anybody like to say the hagafen? Any volunteer? You can raise your hand. Or I'll say it. Okay, I'll say the first one.
Wait a minute. How about you, Alex? Can you say Borei Pri Hagafen, but the whole thing Baruch?
Baruch
I got it.
atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam porei pri hagafen.
Amen.
Amen. Chaim. Okay, so now we're going to start with the first category, which are the fruits that have the skin or the peel. And before you eat it, let's just think about it for a second. When we peel away the outer shell, we reveal the sweet essence. These fruits are wrapped in a coat to shield and protect from the harsh winter. There's the notion of outside and inside. And we allow the feeling of winter, and we invite the challenging aspects that winter brings, the cold and the darkness. We recognize it as a part of a cycle in our lives and in nature. Though the dominant feeling may be barrenness, even within that, there's a core of love and a seed of hope ready to blossom. So I'm going to say the bracha for the fruit, and then if you have a fruit, you can eat it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri ha'etz.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you for the fruit of the tree. These fruits also represent moments in life when sometimes you have to work to get the reward. You have to peel away the layers in order to get into the essence, in order to get to the goal, to the thing that you're moving toward. Okay, we're ready to move on. The next cup of wine begins to warm us a little bit. So this is a rosé, which I made by taking the white and putting a splash, just a splash of the red. And it gives you the pink color of spring. And again, we say the bracha on the juice. Anybody want to? Okay, Janice.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Amen.
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 So now we're going to take a fruit from the second category, which are the dates or the apricots, something with a pit inside. And we're going to spend some time with the fruit, look at it, hold it, roll it around. try to figure out, try to think about what it took for this fruit to get to your table. All the different steps, from farm to packaging, to the store, to the truck, to you going out and getting it and bringing it back. There's a lot of stages that it took to get there. But these fruits, before you eat it, we'll just talk a little more about it. These fruits are fruits you can eat and still plant a new one because they have the seed or the pit inside. And you may ask yourself, when do I want my outside to be soft, but my inside strong? Sometimes things seem easy at first and then get harder. What does it take to persist? And it makes us think, it makes us relate to these fruits in certain ways in our own lives. And it brings us closer to spring. How do we persist through the winter in order to get to springtime? Okay, any comments, questions? Otherwise, we'll move on to the third category.
Wait, we have to eat this first.
Yes. Oh, yes. Say the blessing first. Baruch atah
Baruch
Adonai,
atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei
Borei
pri
pri
ha'etz.
Hey. What is that, Rabbi? A peach?
That's a peach.
That's the peach you got in January.
How about that? Lots of miracles around us.
That's right. You have to be grateful. Okay, so the next cup of wine or juice is made by pouring in red with a splash of white. And you get this, it's not quite as deep as the full red, but it is a nice red color that's bringing us closer to summer. And symbolizes us moving to the warmth of summer. So again, we will say the Borei Pri Hagafen together. Baruch atah Adonai
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam,
Haolam,
borei
Pri
ha'agafen.
Hagafen. Okay, we're halfway through. We're getting there. The third category are the fruits that can be eaten completely. Eating wholly edible fruit, we're emerging from spring to summer. We consume the seed and we imagine it's still on the tree, the water rising up, photosynthesis and the formation of the flower, and then the fruit. A hope in full maturation and opening of the heart. So we can take I have blueberries that can completely be eaten, or raisins, or figs. You have grapes. Hopefully they're seedless.
Seedless grapes.
I also have grapes that are seedless. And we say the blessing on the fruits again. It's amazing that Judaism has a built-in method for mindfulness. Before we eat, we stop and we say a blessing. And there are blessings for everything in our culture. Blessings when you see a rainbow, blessings when you eat, blessings when you eat different foods, bread, fruit, vegetables. There's a blessing for everything. Some say that you're supposed to say 100 blessings in a day, and it's easy to do because there are blessings for everything. So here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei
pri ha'adama.
ha'etz.
Well, I don't think a grape doesn't grow on a tree.
It grows, well, the grapes are tricky because they grow on a vine.
Grow on a vine,
But
and the vine comes from the ground.
And blackberries those are bushes, they're not trees.
I would say Borei Pri Adama. I have to double check, but I think that. Josh, what do you think? Is it great? Are you looking it
I
up?
always thought Ha'etz, but I'm looking it up.
I can also double check. The two fruits that are unusual, banana is Borei Pri Ha'adama, and I think pineapple because of the way they grow. But grapes, Ha'etz.
It is Ha'etz for grape.
On brachos.org,
I stand corrected.
brachos.org says you make Ha'etz on grapes.
Okay.
Things like
I
blueberries,
love grapes.
raspberries, blackberries that grow on these prickly vines, prickly bushes. That's still eights, right?
I think so. I think those are considered eights, but I could look it up. Blackberries. Yeah, Ha'etz. They are Ha'etz. Okay,
Tricky.
it is. You
Right?
have to stop and think. You have to really think about how it grows, where it comes from, But, even if you say the wrong bracha, I think Hashem knows you had the right intention. So you get credit somewhere along the way, right? It's better than saying nothing at all, right?
That's a good
You
attitude.
agree?
That's a good attitude.
Okay, so we're up to the last category, which is the one that which is the one that has everything. But first, we're going to drink the wine. This is the fully red wine that reminds us of the passions of autumn and all the beautiful colors of fall. And this is just red. It's not mixed with anything. And you get that beautiful color. So we shall say one more time, bracha on the wine. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen.
Pri Hagafen.
Amen.
To good health. So I'll just read about the fourth phase where everything is dissolved into one. Here's a mango, and it's got the skin, and inside is the peel and the beautiful succulent fruit. Here the fruit is represented by the skin and the nut, all transcended into one, all inclusive. Nobody is excluded, and anything is possible. So we can eat the fruits from this category. The only other fruit I found in this category is an avocado, which also has a pit and a skin. If you want to honor the tree in another way, you can simply look around your room where you're sitting and think about all the things that come from a tree. There's at least a dozen things in this room that are made of wood that have their origins in a tree. And we're grateful to the trees for that. So in closing, I will just read after I finish chewing that what Tu B'Shvat brings to mind and allows us to realize the soil that our own roots are planted in and what it is that nourishes us, whether it be simple things that we have like clothing, food, a roof over our heads, or community, family, tradition, and ritual. It allows us the opportunity to savor these things and to bless them. It also inspires us to think about what comes next. What are our aspirations as we move through the seasons, through the cold of winter, and into the warmth and beauty of spring and summer? It allows us to plant seeds and envision them growing and branching out, blossoming and ripening into fruit. This is the message and the meaning of Tu B'Shvat. I'll also say that on Tu B'Shvat, it's customary to pray for a beautiful etrog for Sukkot. Some people plant parsley for their Passover Seder plates. And we think about on Tu B'Shvat, the light of Purim starts to shine. I know I got something in the mail from Shul about Purim coming. And Purim is also about unexpected outcomes and hiddenness and masquerades and masks. And it sort of follows this theme of the seed that you don't see, but the potential that lies beneath. So there are many hints to other holidays that are coming, and we look forward to celebrating them all together.
Thank you so much, Ellen. Ellen, do you mind? I have two short videos. Could we?
Not at all.
Now, one is the wonderful story of the eucalyptus tree planted by Ellie Cohen. And we're going to show that video. And then there's a wonderful video about a new one that I had not seen until this year about the message from trees. So this will give us a little bit of a history of some very significant tree in Israeli history. And let's see if I can get that on quickly.
Ellen, that was really wonderful. I'm walking away from this with gratitude and hope.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Boy, you hit the nail on the head.
My favorite
It
tale
was really beautifully
nailed it.
done, Ellen. I thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. It was my
Beautiful.
pleasure.
Eshikoch,
Eshikoch.
absolutely.
Very
Okay.
nice.
Thank you.
Does everybody see this screen? Yes?
of the eucalyptus tree brings us to the story of the world's greatest spy, Eli Cohen. Israel sends Eli deep undercover and into Syria. There, under a false identity, Eli uncovers Syrian secrets and sends the top secret information to Israel. It was during this time that Syria controlled the Golan Heights, and they used this high ground to attack Israel. One day, super spy Eli Cohen gets to see the Syrian positions overlooking Israel on the Golan. The sun is hot, and Eli is schwitzing, sweating badly, and so are the Syrian soldiers in the bunkers. A light bulb goes off in Eli's brilliant mind as he has a bright idea. He suggests to the Syrians that they plant trees, specifically eucalyptus trees, near all the Syrian positions on the Golan, so the Syrians will have some shade from the hot sun. The suggestion is immediately adopted, and all the Syrian positions get eucalyptus trees planted right next to the bunkers. Unfortunately, Eli meets a tragic fate. He is discovered by the Syrians as an Israeli spy and is hanged. Despite pleas from his wife Nadia, his body has never been returned to Israel. A few years later, Israel has to go to war to stop the Syrians, and it was ready to try and take the Golan Heights. But there was a problem. The Syrian bunkers were well hidden and provided the Syrians with an almost impenetrable defense. It was going to be almost impossible to take the Golan Heights. If only Israel knew where the Syrian bunkers were. Of course they knew. They remembered what super spy Eli Cohen had said. They looked for the eucalyptus trees and they found each one of the bunkers and stopped Syria. The Jewish people are so indebted to Eli Cohen. And of course, to the eucalyptus trees that gave away the Syrian positions. Wow, what an MVT, most valuable tree. I'll see you again soon as we continue our celebration of Tu B'Shvat and the incredible trees of Israel. Tu B'Shvat Sameach.
I'd like to share with everybody that I went to Israel once and I landed the day before Tu B'Shvat. And as Ellen said at the very beginning of this Seder, that somehow the trees of Israel know the calendar of the Jewish people. And I'm telling you, on the 15th of Shvat, the almond trees bloomed. And I have a picture of myself standing beneath an almond tree with the blooms. And it was the 15th of Shvat. It was an amazing, there's some of those experiences in life that you will never, ever forget. So the other video, I think that it really emphasizes and facilitates what Ellen shared with us. And I will share with everyone. Alex is here. I said Alex is our bar mitzvah student. And we've shown a couple of videos. He said, well, if you show videos, I'm interested. So I said, videos can be helpful. And I'd love to leave us with this. Let's see here. Whoops. Hold on. There it is.
We can't see this.
I can't see it? Okay. No?
We
No.
only hear it.
Hold on.
You see the printed page.
Hold on. Share. Yes?
Yep, we're good.
Can you do that now?
Yep.
Okay. And this is something we have to read. We have to read there's no sound, but you got to read what it says. Okay.
Nice.
I don't know about you, but it was Neil who responded to Ellen's wisdom to say, you gave us hope and good feeling, and I feel that that short little video did exactly that. And I want to say a yasher koach to Ellen for a beautiful presentation. I hope that everybody had an opportunity to enjoy some of the various fruits of nature. And we should never take the natural world in which we live for granted. I want to wish everybody a very happy Tu B'Shvat. And in the midst of this difficult time we're living in, let us always try to find the light where there is darkness. And of course, as we said, tonight is a full moon. I hope that that moon is shining brightly and that we can all enjoy that full moon, understanding that, yes, it may wane, but it always waxes again. And it's always a process of bringing more light to where there was darkness. A good evening to everyone, and how fabulous it is to be together
Thank you.
Beautiful job, Ellen.
for a holiday.
Asher.
Beautiful, Ellen. Thank you.
Happy
I also
Tu
just want to
B'Shvat.
say happy Tu B'Shvat to everyone. I just want to tell you also that today is our grandson's Hebrew birthday. He was born 3 years ago today.
Oh, beautiful.
Mazal tov.
It's even a more special day for
And
us.
you'll always know his Hebrew birthday is Tu B'Shvat.
Exactly.
Good
So-
night. Be well, everybody.
Good night. Be
Good
well.
night. Thank you.
Care.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you, Ellen. Yasha
You're
Koach.
welcome. My pleasure.
Rabbi
Thank you for
Hazan.
being here.
Bye-bye.
Bye.